him and the little kid was funny.
Hi everyone, welcome back to The Roots. So if you are watching, then you've been following along in previous episodes. So this is episode 5. Now, to all of those young black kings period, that are amazing fathers to their children, amazing role models, amazing kings to their sons and kings to their daughters, and just create a positive influence, especially a positive black male influence for their children. Your children can count on you, your children are there for you, all of that wonderful stuff that comes with fatherhood. This is not for you. Just wanted disclaimer, this is not for you guys at all. I salute you guys. My hats are off to men who are doing the damn thing, just out there being a father, being present 100% of the time, being aware 100% of the time, giving positive emotions, teaching children how to deal with negative emotions, and just being an all-around dad and not just a father. I especially give my hats off to men who've had to do it by themselves, who the mother may have walked out, or the mother may have died, or any of the above, any circumstance that would put you in a space where you're a single father. I definitely give hats off to you for stepping into the role of both parents, especially when you're like a father to a daughter, because guys really have a hard time understanding girls. But hats off to you guys. Hats off to the moms who have to play both roles, but today's really for the dads. So, to the dads. Now, the truth about Father's Day is I hate Father's Day. That's just my truth. I said this in episode 1 that all of these videos would just be as raw and as authentic as possible. So, my truths. I hate Father's Day. That's just, it just is that. I hate it. I don't hate it because my father died, and hats off to those moms who are having to carry the torch for children whose parents were killed, especially due to gun violence, or died before they were born, died in their early years. Super hats off to you guys, especially to those kids, because Father's Day can be a really touchy, really emotional day. Same as Mother's Day for those who have lost parents or don't have parents. That is my position. Father's Day for me is a very emotional day, not just because I have a child of my own who has our own father, but because I was born into 2 parents, of course, who were married, still are. However, I never had a dad, much less a father. That never happened for me. I don't have a father who I can pick up the phone and call him if I'm in trouble, or who I can call him just if I want to talk, or who taught me about boys, or any of the above, actually. Like, none of that. However, I've had a lot of male figures. Like, I have great uncles on my mom's side who have always taken care of myself and my siblings, who've always been there for us, who I can call them, you know, when I'm in trouble. When I had my car accident last year, I called my uncle. That's just the father figures that I have, but those are no replacement to the actual father, to your actual dad or your actual father. And nothing really takes away the pain that you feel from not having your father be present in your life, even though you see him every day. And growing up, I really didn't know which one was worse. I didn't know if it was worse that I had friends who had never met their fathers, or if it was worse that I knew my father, saw him every single day, and he just was incapable of being a father or being a dad. I've never been able to figure out which one is worse or which one hurts more, or not that it's a comparison or a competition, but I've just never been able to figure that out, honestly. So this video is just about that, because yesterday was a lot in the sense that I went to a cookout, Greek cookout, for Father's Day, and I got to see a bunch of awesome black fathers be awesome black dads. And I have plenty of friends who are great and awesome dads to their kids, whether their kids were planned or unplanned. They're just amazing dads, especially the ones that I know that have daughters. They're just amazing dads. And when I see black men being present, available, emotionally ready fathers, I definitely take my hats off and salute them. I think it's a great and it's a beautiful thing. However, on the flip side, there's also a sense of loss, a sense of hurt, a sense of pain, a sense of feelings of rejection, I guess you could say, from seeing that. Because as a young girl, I'm only 25, so as a young girl or as an adult even, you want to have your dad around. You want to be able to call them, to talk to them, to ask for help, to just whatever. I've never known a father-daughter relationship, so I have no idea what it should look like outside of the positive ones I may have seen on TV or on the Black Love documentary or in my everyday life. Outside of that, I have no reference point, no concept of what a good father-daughter, healthy father-daughter relationship should look like. My father and I have always been at odds, simply because of a number of things, I guess you could say. The key one is his feelings of being left out, or feeling like we took precedence, we took priority, I took priority over him. And maybe it has something to do with his childhood and how he was raised, and that impacted his ability to be a good father. I'm not sure, I don't know. I just know what I was born into and what I always promised myself that I would never inflict upon my children. Not to blame my mother or anything, can't blame her. However, it's really a pain that even when you think it's gone away, it hasn't gone away. It's the weirdest thing. Like, even when I think I'm totally over it, I think I'm done with it, it's not a problem, I have forgiven and forgotten, something happens or some event happens like Father's Day that deeply reminds me how much I'm lacking in that area, or how much I don't have that arena or that area of my life, and thus turned into, I guess you could say, more of an area in which you just don't really know what to say or don't know what to do. And yesterday was one of those days where it was just like, just feelings of loss, like just, I don't know how I fit in at this cookout, or I don't know how I fit into life. For a long time, my lack of a father-daughter relationship, a positive one, really played a factor in how I interacted with other men. Not that I didn't like men, honestly, I just didn't really know how to positively interact with them. I felt like I have no need to be nice to guys. I have no need and no desire to look for a long-term relationship with a guy, because why? Just why? Like, because why? That took a lot of growing. I didn't really necessarily learn how to have positive emotional relationships, or even deal with emotions, period. Deal with connection, deal with relationships, whether they are romantic ones or platonic ones. It just wasn't there. It wasn't in the cards. And going into my second long-term relationship, I had to make active decisions for myself on me deciding that I was going to learn how to communicate. I was going to learn how to deal with my emotions. I was going to decide to go to therapy, because a lot of people have daddy issues. A lot of people aren't willing to admit it. A lot of people aren't willing to do the work to make themselves better. But I became determined at a certain point to make myself better so that I can present the best possible version of myself for the children that I'm going to have after Naomi, and for her, period. So that's my truth. And I hate Father's Day. So if you've ever encountered me and you notice I don't post pictures of my father, don't talk about him. That's a rarity. I probably have only talked about him to my really close friends. Don't talk about my father. I don't really celebrate Father's Day. On Father's Day, you might see me post like people around me who are great dads, but don't post my own father. That's really the reason why, because that day is very tough for me. It's tough as a kid growing up, and even as an adult, feeling like you don't really have anyone other than your mom or your grandma or your uncles. Like it's really tough to feel like that. And I know there's someone out there that's like, well, I don't have either parent. Cherish the parents you have when you have them, or someone out there who just recently lost their father ahead of Father's Day. So of course the notion will be, well, talk to your father, because you never have time, you never know what's gonna happen. And trust me, over the years I've gone through those motions of feeling like you never know what's gonna happen. Better to have the communication than regret that you haven't had it. But also over the years, a lot of stuff has happened that I've just made the decision that I am better off without that relationship, because it's just so toxic to my life and to my growth. So it's just better to leave it alone, but doesn't take away from that feeling of like, not necessarily worthlessness. At a certain point that I had feelings of worthlessness because of it, but then after a while, I grew to understand that it had nothing to do with me. That even when it comes down to our parents, and though we feel like you birthed me, you created me, so you're obligated to be a good parent or at least be a decent parent, I think a lot of what gets forgotten is our parents are people. And prior to them making the decision to have us, or even maybe not having the decision to have us, having it imposed upon them, or not being ready to have us, they were people. Outside of the title that we give them of mom or dad or grandparent, grandma, grandpa, whoever, there are people outside of that. So I myself, I wear a lot of hats, a lot of roles. I am a mom, I am a sister, I am a daughter, I am a friend, I am a mentor, I am a counselor, I am so many different layers of things. However, outside of all of those roles and all of those titles, I'm Grace Kelly. I have my own thoughts, my own wants, my own needs, my own desires. And I have grown to understand that that's how everyone is. And as obvious as that sounds, I still think we forget it. We forget that people are experiences, not possessions to have and to keep. People are here for you to experience them, whether that experience is positive or negative. They're here for you to experience them. And when you let go of the ideal and the idea that because they hold this title, they're obligated to perform in those duties to the best of their ability or to the highest of their ability, then you're able to see that another person's downfall, specifically for me, my father's inability to have a positive or a healthy father-daughter relationship, has nothing to do with me and everything to do with him. It is not reflective of me or who I am or what I may have done. It's really totally about him. And that's not my job to carry that burden. That's his. And that's just kind of how I've decided to live my life. But my truth is, I hate Father's Day. That's just my truth. I hate Father's Day. So I hope to see you back probably in a couple of hours for Motivational Monday. So I will see you then. And until next time, remember to like, subscribe down below. I think it's actually in this corner. So, red box. Amazing. Subscribe. Share my page, like it, leave comments. I would love to hear feedback. What are you guys' relationships like with your parents, your fathers specifically? How has this video touched you? Because hey, there could be someone out there that feels just like me. how was your life growing up? How do you feel like it's impacted you now? But nonetheless, like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. Share. And until next time, this is The Roots. See you next time. Bye.